Hi folks, welcome to Let's Go Car Cruising. My name's Mark and I'm a certified car nut. I go to car shows, cruise nights, cars and coffee, any event with cars at it, and I get the stories. I talk to people and I learn the stories of their cars because the stories are where it's at. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please click the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all those happy buttons for me. That'll tell YouTube you like what I'm doing and it'll help me get out there and make more videos. I'm having a ball doing this, I appreciate it. And we're gonna see some awesome cars tonight. We're out at Kimball Farm in Lancaster, Massachusetts for their weekly Friday night cruise night. And there's still a lot more cars coming in, but there's a lot of cool stuff already here. We're gonna have a great time and we're gonna get to it. So let's go car cruising. All right folks, we're here with Jeff, and Jeff's gonna tell us about this really sharp Datson, not a Nissan, a Datson 240Z. So what's going on with this one, Jeff? This really is very sharp.
Thank you very much. Well, I've had my eye on this car for, I want to say since 2010. A collector friend of mine obtained it back in 2010 from another collector.
Okay.
And I sat in it, I probably took 50 pictures of it, and he proceeded to tell me, it's never going to be for sale, you will never own it. Well, never say never.
Right, life happens. And
life happens, and it was like baseball. There was a 3-team deal going on, and the guy that ended up with this car wanted one of my cars. We did a swap, another Z.
Okay.
So everybody came out happy. But I believe it's a South Dakota car. I believe. I don't know everything about the past.
Okay.
A gentleman from Long Island obtained it, and he went through the car in 2004. He had a restoration. Hired a restoration shop out on Long Island.
Sure.
They did a fabulous job. He went to the convention, the Z convention,
sure,
in Tampa.
Wow.
In 2005.
Yep.
He was expecting to win Gold Cup.
Yep.
Gold Cup is 300, maximum 300 points. You have to score between 290 and 300. You get a Gold Cup.
Okay.
It's very, very difficult.
Sure.
He got second place. He didn't make it. He didn't make it.
Fell a little short.
Fell a little short. He's like, I'm done. So that's how it ended up being sold to my friend in Tampa, Florida. Like I said, I ended up with the car. I decided it's a Gold Cup car. I just need to bring it up a notch.
Okay.
So I went to my restoration shop in North Smithfield, Rhode Island. We went through what I wanted done. Most of my concentration was on the engine bay area. We pulled the motor, resprayed the engine bay, and then I ordered all the parts. I know what goes into these cars. I have 3 cars that obtained Gold Cup.
Okay.
Nobody in the country.
You know the routine.
Nobody in the country, I even think in the world, has 3. There may be some people who have 2, but anyway, I have 3, so I know what it takes. And so in 2020, the convention was in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, nice city.
Yeah. Shipped the car down, and she ended up scoring 293 points.
There you go.
And obtained Gold Cup. But we meticulously went through. It had I don't know exactly what they call it, but it had a plastic like
film
cover on fenders and hood. Sure. And it was starting to peel at the end. It's like to protect it from rock chips and stuff.
PPF, plastic protective film they call it.
That's
sure.
PPF.
And it's not meant to stay on for a long time. Because when it does that. It checks and it comes off in little teeny little pieces. So
my restoration shop proceeded, heat guns and all that, pull it off. They lost a little bit of clear coat. So we did have to do a little bit of work on the front end because as they were able to peel it off, a lot of other stuff came with it. But I received a car with 25,000 original miles. Supposedly, everything says it's 25. It has close to 28 now. I drive it. I go to shows all over. I've been to Old Orchard Beach show.
And you have a ball with it.
I have a ball with it. They're meant to be driven.
Absolutely.
And I just love it. And there's a history of this in my family. My dad had one in '70 when I was 16 years old. So we used to work on it together. I learned how to drive a manual shift back then. So
there you go.
It has a lot of, it brings back a lot of memories. And my license plate is Dad's Z.
Right.
And that's me, Dad, but it also is an honor for my dad.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, thanks for taking the time, Jeff. I appreciate it. And
thank you very much.
I think we all learned a little bit about
a little bit
Datsun Z cars and continued enjoyment with it. And
thank you very much.
the heck out of it. Thank you.
You.
I'm going to take a little walk, see some cars, find some owners, and see what kind of interesting stuff we can find out. All right, folks, I'm back here with Joe, and I apologize to him for flubbing the last interview and losing the audio. And now Joe can be heard, and Joe's going to tell us about the car because I couldn't remember everything he told me.
Okay.
So what's going on with this one, Joe? It's kind of special.
It started as an '08 C6
Okay.
Corvette. It was given to Spectra Works up in Michigan, and they did a complete changeover. It's all handcrafted fiberglass panels.
Okay.
It's got 11 panels on it. It's got 7 carbon fiber panels. It's been done from the ground up. Different brakes, rotors, rims, tires, everything. Stainless steel exhaust. The motor's been done from the ground up.
Okay. How many? You told me how many they made.
7 of them.
And this is
number 1.
This is number 1.
Yep.
So that's significant.
Yep. Very. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, they did it right.
So how did you find it?
I found it on eBay.
Oh.
Yep. eBay auctions, and I won. So.
There you go.
Yeah, it was out in Colorado. And,
okay. Sight unseen.
Out here. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That thing's guts.
There's enough magazine articles and everything about it.
Ah, I got you.
It was on
Okay.
Bring a Trailer, which had, it's not done by the person selling it. It's
Sure.
another
Okay.
auction house or whatever, and they did. They had like 148 pictures in it.
Okay.
Of it, and they had 3 videos and everything. So, yeah, and I talked to the owner. I got to know him pretty well. So I said, yeah, I'll take a chance.
There you go.
And
so
I lucked out.
Motor alterations as well, or?
Yeah, motor from the ground up. It's a stroker. They
Okay.
reground cranks, custom ground camshaft, 11-to-1s. It's got 535 horse.
Oh, that's a little extra.
3-inch stainless steel exhaust, long tube headers. They did it
wow.
right. All the suspension's been changed. It's got 20-inch rims in the back, 19 in the front.
Okay.
12 inches of rubber in the back.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
11 inches in the front. So, yeah, it's nice. 6-speed. It's fun.
It's fun.
Yep.
Just fun enough to get you in a little trouble every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. My retirement toy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm glad we had the opportunity to meet again and get it from the horse's mouth, because
All right.
that's what matters.
Thank
That's
you.
cool. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the road.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Bless you. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the music.
GTO.
Enjoy the grilled food. Kevin was such a
32 5-window hot rod. Seen that one before. Really sharp little Corvette. All right, folks, we're here with John, and I haven't seen John in a long time. It's good to see you again, John.
Joe.
Joe.
Yes, my brother's.
See, it's been that long. I forgot. I thought I heard him call you John.
Yeah, he did. He did by mistake, but
okay.
gets
See, it's his
confused.
fault.
Right.
But we're here, and he's going to tell us about this really cool blue Superbird.
Yes, this is my 1970 Superbird. I bought it in 1997. It took me around 7 years to get it done.
Okay.
I've been enjoying it since.
And I remember we had you down to the Newport, Rhode Island Concours d'Elegance, and what a fun weekend that was.
Yeah, that was a great weekend. There was great weather too, I remember. And that's it. We're enjoying the car. Finally, get some time to enjoy the car. It's been sitting a lot,
So you restored this yourself, huh?
Yes, myself. Yeah.
How long did that take you?
About 7 years.
About 7 years. I'm sorry, you probably just said that.
Yeah.
Where'd you find it?
I found it actually in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I heard about it. Didn't believe the kid, and then one day I showed up at his house. I had a 1970 GTX
Okay.
at that time, and I went over to look at this, and he wanted a lot of money back then in '97. I said no, and then later on '97, I met his father again on another cruise night, and then we talked about money, and it was my price range. So then I sold my GTX and got into this right away.
So you've had it a good long time.
A long time, yeah.
So I see the 4-speed pistol grip.
Yeah, pistol grip, 4-speed pistol grip car.
Is this so it's a 440?
440, 4-barrel car.
4-barrel car.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you get it out and you have fun, and
Yeah.
it still looks as great as it did back when I remember the Newport show, and that was early 2000s.
Yep, exactly. That was right around. Yeah, actually, it was probably right in 2000. I think I got it done. No, I actually probably 201 or 2, I think.
Yeah, something like that. We did 3 or 4 of those shows.
Yeah.
But great. Well, I'm glad to see you again.
Awesome.
It's good to chat and catch up, and
awesome.
continued enjoyment with the car because
yes.
it's cool.
I'm going to.
And you get attention everywhere you go.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, man.
Everybody's always looking at it, which sometimes drives my wife crazy, but it's okay. She can live with it.
Yeah, that's right.
She can live with it.
That's right. It's better than the alternative.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There you go, man. Thanks a lot. Good to see you again, and we'll see you on the road.
We'll be talking. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Yeah, thank you.
Fairlane. Cobra. ERA. Reproduction. Nice car. Big Ford in it.
Well,
all right, we're here with Steve, and Steve's going to tell us about his pretty unique Hemi Satellite. So, where were we when I so rudely stopped you and said, "Let me hit the record button"?
yeah, I mean these cars are pretty driver-centric. They didn't show off much.
Okay.
A lot of the Plymouths would say on a badge under, like where it says satellite here,
Yep.
would say Commando V8 or something like
Okay.
that. This one says HP squared.
Okay.
Yeah, and it means so what it is it's a badge that was put on these cars. This is the first year of the 426, the second gen
the street Hemi. Right. Okay.
Right. So this is a street Hemi car, and the HP squared emblem designates Hemi-powered Plymouth.
Okay.
And they were, and a lot of guys call them HP2 cars.
Okay.
And the HP2 cars were built from the beginning of 1966 production, which would have been in the summer of '65.
Right. Yep.
And up until I don't know if they broke for Christmas or certainly by New Year's.
Sure. Yeah.
So the Hemi cars that were built in '65, the ones made by Plymouth, not the Dodge ones,
Okay.
but the Plymouth ones said HP squared on it. You
Okay.
want to come take a look at this emblem. And they say that there's somewhere between 48 and 54 cars built
Wow.
during that time frame.
It's got loud mufflers, but okay.
Yeah.
So this is, as you said, original, unrestored.
Yeah.
It's only original once.
The only original ones.
That's cool.
It's been apart. It's a Hemi car, so
Yeah.
it's been.
Exactly.
Don't worry, it's been abused.
Yeah, they normally were.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
But we got it, and
How long have you had it?
I've only had it a little over a year. I picked it up off a gentleman out by Modesto, California. It was out
Okay.
there for. The car started its life in South Carolina,
Okay.
and in 1968 it was flat-towed out to California, and it stayed in California until 2023.
I'm watching these guys go by, and I saw them as I walked by them,
Oh,
but
geez,
I didn't
I hope
realize
I'm
they
gonna
were a
get it.
pair. Hazard County. That's hilarious. Oh, I guess I don't get to talk to them tonight. They're leaving already. Go get them, Roscoe.
There you go.
But great, thanks for talking about the car, telling us, and the history lesson, and it's really cool.
Great,
And
thank you.
the stories and the history of
Yeah.
where it's at.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right, good to see you. We'll see you on the road.
Yeah, thanks.
Here's another Hemi car. This one's pretty nicely restored. And I'm getting shadows on it, I'm sorry. Maroon, with a maroon interior. Column shift, GTX. What a car. All right, folks, we're here with Kenny, and I like the truck, and he started telling me about it, and it's got some history that that I knew. So, start from the beginning, Kenny. What do we got here?
So it's a 64 Ford F100.
Okay.
The power plant is a 67 Mustang 289.
Okay.
It's got a Holly Sniper fuel injection kit.
Ooh, makes it nice and drivable.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Power steering, power brakes, and it's actually a full air ride system. It's,
okay. Yeah, because it's in the weeds tonight.
Yes, it's a AccuAir E-level system.
Okay.
So it's fully airbagged. Just a fun weekend driver.
Okay, so it wasn't when you bought it?
No, sir. It was completely stock for the most part.
I remember it being a nice looking truck.
Yeah. Definitely not this low. It was more of a stock height.
Okay.
And I originally started out, I wanted the gas tank out of the cab of the truck because of my son, and snowballed into
it got out of hand.
What we have today.
Yeah.
So,
funny how that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you stop, right?
Yeah, still some stuff I need to do. I got to do the interior. I got to finish the exhaust, but so far it's just a cruiser. We go to some shows
and it crossed through some hands of people that I know.
Yep,
so
yep.
we have mutual friends. That's cool.
That's it. Several people that we both know. Local to the area and stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks for taking the time. And your son likes it too, because old cars are cool, right?
Yep.
That's all right.
He's hoping it's going to be his high school driver one day. I haven't got there yet. So.
Well, hey, you never know.
That's it. Well,
very good. Well, thanks for your time, Kenny. I appreciate it. And nice truck. Thank you. And another one.
607927.
Another Chevrolet Woody. Wow, pretty cool.
Kimball.
Now here's a rod with a lot of motor in it. Hang on tight, folks. Well, all right, we're back here with Roger, and I followed up the interview last time, Roger, and I'm sorry.
Don't feel bad.
But you'll have to tell me the story all over again. So
not a problem.
What do we have here? We have an 89.
It's a 1989 Trabant 601S Deluxe.
Deluxe, wow.
Yeah, and it is a universal, which was a fancy term that this car from East Germany they would use for a station wagon. Also known as a Kombi, you might call it that in West Germany, but they prefer to call it a universal.
Okay.
And a sedan would have been known as a limousine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not quite a limousine as we understand it, but this particular car was the basic transportation for East German as well as many other workers in communist lands such as Poland, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, and others.
Okay.
Not in the Soviet Union. Oh, no. The Soviets didn't allow these to be sold there because the cars were so inexpensive they would have undercut their own brands such as Lada
stuff.
and
right.
Zhiguli and Moskvich and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But the car itself is powered with a two-cylinder, two-stroke, 26 horsepower engine of 594 cc's displacement.
Wow.
The car only weighs 1,350 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a steel monocoque shell.
Yep.
Covered over with a thermoplastic fenders, hood, roof, door sides, things like that. And it's a very light car.
Okay.
And everything's mounted crosswise in the engine compartment, including the transmission and the engine. And the steering, it's got rack and pinion steering like a Triumph sports car, I imagine.
Wow.
It's all mounted crossways so that people can actually fit inside
the car.
So they can fit inside the passenger compartment.
Right.
It's a triumph of engineering over adversity. You got to remember, after World War II, East Germany is now being run by who? The Soviets.
Yes.
And the Soviets, after destroying everything in sight, took what wasn't destroyed, such as factories, for cameras, guns, automobiles, and put them all on flat cars and the engineers at gunpoint and said, we're going back to Siberia.
And you're going to work for us now.
Yeah, and they would produce such things as the 1938 Opel was now produced in the Soviet Union as the Moskvich.
Okay.
Yeah, the Soviet workers' car.
Of course, few Soviets ever actually got those cars, but that's a story for another day.
So tell me about the original owner.
The original owner was a woman named, I think her name was Ulrika Novak. I'd have to go look at the paperwork. She bought the car, she ordered it in 1977. And the way it went in East Germany was you paid it off as you went along in East German money. And when you paid it off and when the car was available, you would get your car.
So it took her 12 years to get it.
Exactly. She ordered it in 1977. She gets a nice postcard in the factory in Meerane, outside of Zwickau, saying, your car is ready to be picked up in May of 1989. 6 months later, the wall comes down. Yay, everyone's free. And her West German relatives, whom she had not seen, Rita Novak was her name.
Okay.
And had not seen her since before the Berlin Wall went up in 1961. They had been in contact with her. Have a good night, folks. But they didn't get a chance to really see her. They were so happy to see her as a grown-up now with 2 sons, and they were so happy they gave her, in celebration, a BMW.
Oh.
BMW, Trabant. Let's see, what am I going to drive? Gee, I guess I'll drive the BMW. So nobody wanted the Trabant. These people are just dumping these things on the side of the road. Everybody's dumping their habits, their cars, communism, socialism. It's all going right out the window. So she stuck it in her garage because she didn't know what else to do with it, apparently.
Okay.
Put a car cover over it and it sat there for about the next 20 years until she died. And apparently, according to one of her sons who I got in email contact with, he's now some sort of real estate, industrial real estate guy in Dresden, Germany, said that we didn't know she still had the car. We didn't know what to do with it, so we gave it to a neighbor, and the neighbor gave it to her daughter. The daughter used it to commute back and forth to college for a little bit. Okay. Then she gave it to her new boyfriend. They got married, and well, eventually they'll split up. But the new husband, or ex-husband, kept the car. The thing is, the car is still in his ex-mother-in-law's name. It gets even better.
Oh.
He gets married. He's a great guy. Marries a new woman, and he and the new wife have a daughter. Then they have twin daughters. Now they have 3 daughters. The new wife says, look, I'm not going to drive my kids around in a Trabant. I want a minivan. This is not safe. So gets her a minivan. She says, you've now got 2 Trabants. You get this one, which you never drive, and you get the other one, which you use for charity rides up to places like Murmansk, Russia, and Norway, and things like that, gathering charity donations along the way for children. So keep that, sell the other one. Yes, my dear. So he puts it on eBay Germany. I saw it, I said, that's what I want. He's asking a lot of money for it, but he was living close to Bremerhaven, Germany. He was now living in the West. He was from Dresden originally, but now living in the West.
Okay.
And this was in 2016. And that's when I got an email contact with the seller. I said, yeah, I'm interested in buying your car. He says, well, come by and take a look at it. I emailed him back. We're emailing in German because I grew up in West Germany.
Okay.
And he says, well, and I said, well, it might be a little tough. I'm in Massachusetts. He says, wait a minute. You mean like in America? I said, well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. He says, you want to bring a Trabant to America? I said, hell yes. And he's like, well, okay, I understand how this works. I'm an inventor and an engineer. I've defended patents in New Jersey, in courtrooms, so I know how your legal system works. Let me get your car ready for mass inspection. So he went, got all the brakes redone, everything. I mean, he really went top to bottom on this car.
Okay.
And he shipped it over. He pulled it on a little trailer using the new minivan, his wife's minivan, dropped it off at the customs office in Bremerhaven. The entire office comes out to see it. They're like, whoa, we've never seen one of these before. We all grew up in the West. We don't know what these cars are.
Oh, okay.
And they said, we never see German cars going to America on car ferries. We only see massive amounts of American muscle cars, pickup trucks, classic cars, cars with fins, Cadillacs, being imported en masse to Germany. Germans love big American cars. I got a buddy over there, this guy.
Europeans in general.
Well, but especially Germans, and especially East Germans, because this one guy, Michael, he drives a 1962 gold Cadillac sedan DeVille. It's a convertible. His idea of fun is driving down the Autobahn at like 80 miles an hour, Johnny Cash playing, at jumbo jet volume he's got an 8-track player.
Wow.
And he's smoking a big cigar, and he's listening to a boy named Sue or whatever. And I said, Michael, the cost of gas alone. He said, stop. I grew up in East Germany. I know what the real price of freedom is.
Right.
I said,
okay.
Sir, I bow to your experience.
That's
but
awesome.
the Trabant is my piece of the Berlin Wall. It's a touchstone. It's a symbol. It's a reminder of what we all went through in the Cold War. A lot of times young people come up and they have no idea what the Cold War is about. And then I tell them there are two sides to it. There's the movies and there's the music and all the stuff, but there's also the flip side for people who had literally no freedom. For people who had no freedom, this was freedom.
Right.
They could get in the car and drive and not have to worry about the secret police, listening to them.
Right.
Or their neighbors informing on them. They would go on long trips to other socialist countries and just be away from their lives.
Right.
Very regimented, very group-oriented lives,
Sure,
very little
yeah.
in the way of individualism. Individualism was frowned upon from very early on in people's childhoods.
Right,
This to
yeah.
them meant, I can be an individual.
Right.
Something
Yep.
which they hungered for.
Sure.
And that's really about it.
Well,
it's,
that's awesome.
yeah, I mean, it's not a technological, amazing car.
No, but it's different and it's got a really cool story.
It does. It's a testament to people who lived through adversity and had nothing, and by virtue of imagination and just pure plain resourcefulness, came up with their own version of a Ford Model T. This
Sure.
was their Ford Model T.
Right,
They'd
yeah.
never driven a car before, but they had a car which was easy to fix, easy to drive. They could repair it themselves, and it just showed that in a world where you've got nothing, you can at least get something.
It was a little bit of hope.
Yeah, it's a sort of, the whole point of East Germany was they were trying to take care of people, but the government really couldn't take care of people.
Right.
People had to rely upon each other and upon their own individual resources and brain power, and just trying to just figure things out for themselves.
Sure.
Even just making food recipes, they had to come up with all manner of things. They had to make their own ketchup, their own salad dressing. Things we just take for granted.
Yeah.
And this is an example of it.
Well, terrific. Thank you again for telling the story. I
Yeah.
promise I recorded it this time, so I won't have to ask you about it again.
Testing.
Testing,
1, 2,
yeah.
3.
We got the audio this time.
Hey, I'm happy to be a help.
Rookie mistake, but I'm
That's
having a ball.
okay.
Thank you again, and we'll see you out on the road.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Custom Studebaker. I've met the owner of this car before, haven't seen it for a couple of years, and it looks stock, but it is wicked custom underneath. And unfortunately, I don't see him standing here, but we're gonna keep trying on this one, folks. It's because it's really cool. All right, folks, we're here with John, and I finally found him at his car because people go walk for an ice cream and go get something to eat, and he's going to tell us about this really sharp Chevrolet Woody. So what year is this now, John?
It's 1950
Okay,
Chevy Skyline Deluxe,
okay,
affectionately known as a Tin Woody. This and this are the same thing.
okay.
It's all
So it
just-
looks like wood, but
It's hand painted.
it's, wood grained. That's an
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
I've seen people do just dashboards, but yeah, that's an art. That's really cool. How long have you had the car?
a little over 10 years.
Okay,
It was originally owned by nuns on Fisher Island in New York.
okay.
I just turned 56,000 miles, but
Wow.
for decades it went nowhere. It was just
Yeah.
on the island. There's a crucifix in the ashtray that supposedly the nuns put there,
Okay,
and no owner since has taken it out.
okay.
So I thought of canceling my car insurance, but this way I just have double coverage.
There you go.
There you
You're
go.
good to go.
So-
You're good to go. So What kind of shape was it? It was in good shape.
It was in this shape. I added turn signals, sun visors, skirts, and things.
Wow.
The skirts would have been original equipment, but they were long gone.
Okay.
And just did a variety of little things just to dress it up.
Wow. But
But turn signals would have been an option. All I had was that tail light.
Okay.
So everything was my arms.
Yes. Yes.
And people would
Okay.
just wave at me. They would,
Oh, so they were available, but they were an option.
it was an
Okay.
option that wasn't here.
Okay.
It's
I'm
like
lear-
oil filter was an option. I added that a few years ago,
Okay.
but it had no oil filter.
As early cars didn't. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So
Yeah.
you've had it. You said about 10 years. That's awesome. You get it out. I've seen it a couple times before, but we've never had the pleasure of meeting.
Oh, okay.
But thanks for telling me a little bit about it. I appreciate your time and
My pleasure.
continued enjoyment with it, man, because it's cool.
Oh, thank you. It's a lot of fun.
I like the drive-in restaurant tray on the other side.
Yeah.
I
A friend
remember.
of mine gave me that. Yeah.
I can remember those days.
Yeah. No,
I was a little tyke, but
it was a treat when we go out,
yes, yeah,
like A&W root beer or something like that.
yep, and the roller skates.
Oh yeah. That was really
Terrific.
good.
Well, thanks again, John.
You bet.
Continued enjoyment with the car, and we'll catch you out on the road.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay.
A little bit of everything. Barracuda, a 68 Camaro. Got looks like a 67 Grand Prix. New style Thunderbird. Dodge RT. El Camino, a new vet, an old vet, a couple of old vets. Yeah, they got a little bit of everything here, folks. A couple of Mondelez. A couple more Thunderbirds. All right, folks, we're here with Rick, and I got a thing for 66 GTOs, and I already told him that story, but tell us the story of your 66 GTO, Rick, because I think it's pretty cool.
This story I bought this car back in 1969. I was a junior in high school.
Wow.
And it was my very first car. I worked 2 summers for it, and it only cost it was for sale for $1,500.
Okay.
So I was driving with my girlfriend one day, and she said, "Hey, I see there's a sign in this yard here for GTO for sale." So we saw it. I talked to the gentleman. He said, "Yeah, my son was in the service in Germany." And he wrote back to his dad and said, "Please sell the car. I don't need it anymore."
Okay.
So we bought the car, and I took my dad with me to negotiate.
Okay.
And I think from the $1,500, he got it down to $1,475.
Well,
So that was a good deal.
hey, it's better in your pocket than
My
his,
dad was
right?
a great negotiator. Back then, $25 actually did something.
Exactly.
So
That's
it's really
cool.
good. So I've had that car ever since. It's never been a car that I've ever used in the winter. I always bought winter beaters.
Okay.
$50 cars, whatever it took just to get through the winter.
Back in the day when you could do
Back
that.
in the day, I could do it and get a garage space for it. And even after having children and going through the whole thing where money's tight, we still were able to keep the car. My wife was great about, let's not ever sell, let's just keep it and we'll get back into it. So
Awesome.
we were back into it.
So did you restore it at some point?
The only thing I've had it done is painted.
Okay.
The car has always pretty much been like this since 1969 when I bought it.
Wow,
Even
that's
being
awesome.
a 66, yeah.
So I
Very
see the 389 and the Tri-Power.
389 Tri-Power, 4-speed, Competition Plus. Got tubular automotive headers, which are 2-piece headers.
Okay.
Very special headers made in Rockland, Mass. They just make the car. They really make the car a lot as well.
Yeah.
People love to see the headers hanging down low.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's really fun. It's a great car.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for telling the story, Rick. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
I found another member of the I Still Have My First Car Club.
That's true. The
And,
very first.
That's awesome. Because
That's
people
great.
love hearing those stories, and I love telling them.
I
So
love hearing it
we're having a
too.
ball out here,
Thank
and continued enjoyment with the car.
Thank you
And,
so much.
It's a legacy to pass
Appreciate
along.
it. I'll give it to my grandchildren.
There you go. Have a great night. Thank
you so much. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to call a wrap on this one here up at Kimball Farm in Lancaster, Mass. Had a wonderful night and saw a bunch of cool cars and met a bunch of really nice people. Got some good stories because stories are where it's at. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like the video, click the like and subscribe, the notification bell, all those happy buttons, and that'll tell YouTube you like what I'm doing and it'll help my channel grow. So once again, thanks for watching. If you have a cool car with a cool story and would like to tell it, I'd be happy to meet you. And and get the story. I'm based out of central Massachusetts, so anywhere kind of in New England is fair game right now. I hope to get big enough that I can travel a little bit and do some out-of-town shows. So that would be pretty cool. And if I was at this show, or if I've been at a show that I haven't got to talk to you, I'm sorry. I try to walk around and pick out some interesting cars, and if there's nobody standing by them, then it's kind of a little bit more difficult to tell a story of a car. So anyway, I'll try harder and try to get your story. Thanks again for watching, folks. I really appreciate the support, and get your cars out. It doesn't take a bazillion dollars to get a car and have a good time. Make some memories with your family and enjoy them, because that's what they're all about. So once again, let's go car cruising.